Nice, of course.
20 years later, the event helps fund the renovation and support St. Vincent de Paul outreach programs. And joining us to talk about the history and the local Minnesota artists performing are Emily Carlson Hjelm. Let's see, we've got the Executive Director of Development there, and then also we have Kiera Jacobson, who is the Basilica Block Party co-chair. Nice to have both of you here.
Thank you for having us.
You bet.
Okay, so this is astounding to me. You have 22,000 volunteers that help make this happen year after year over the past 20 years. So why is it that you think this event has become so popular? Is it the draw of the bands?
The bands is kind of the natural go-to to see live music downtown with the skyline in the background or the beautiful basilica in the background. And you know you're not just going to have a great time, you're also there for a good cause.
Right, rain or shine. Either way is fine. I mean, really, it really is. And we've had both. We've had, I remember the Suburbs with their performance in the rain. And I think it even went on your new CD here commemorating 20 years. Well, how did this idea get off the ground? How did it originate?
Sure. Well, actually, in Chicago, they do a block party at Old St. Pat's, which is a Catholic church downtown Chicago. And we had a parishioner more than 20 years ago who was a member there, who had joined the Basilica, and she noticed the need for a good fundraiser. The church was in great disrepair, and she appreciated the beauty of the Basilica. So she worked with Father O'Connell, who was the rector of the Basilica at the time, and told him about this idea. And he thought, well, that's just so crazy, it might work. And 20 years later, it did. Yeah.
We're looking at some pictures from the 1990s, some of the highlights, and let's talk about some of the local music that you'll be featuring this year. Who are some of the bands that are going to be a big draw, do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have 3 stages at the block party. One of them is going to be our Sun Country stage, which is the main one, Preferred, which is the church stage, and then the biggest one, the most exciting, is the Vitamin stage, which really features those local artists.
Local artists, right.
So we have 6 local artists that are going to be with us. Some of the big ones for Friday night, Black Diet will be there. And then Saturday night, we have Frankie Lee. And the really exciting thing about that is that he was actually just named
Best Songwriter.
Best Songwriter, absolutely, from Minneapolis.
Oh, that is great. And we're seeing, of course, some local artists here enjoying that. And how many different bands, different acts will we have this year? So,
it's actually the biggest year we've ever had. So we have 21 bands that will be on the grounds over the 2 days.
it seems like 2 years.
Wow. Really, that much music.
That's fantastic.
Well, now this year, are there some new VIP options that weren't available last year?
Yes, there are a few. All the details are actually on basilicablockparty.org. So we still have regular tickets available for Friday and Saturday night, and then we do have all the VIP options available. So all the details are online.
I think do we have the pictures to show some of the history since the 90s? Are we going to show some of those? Maybe we've seen them and they went quickly. We're seeing some videos now, but the history part of it is really fun. And that's part of this CD. Let's talk a little bit about that you brought so nicely for us to keep and take. so
Tom,
look at the great...
Actually, that would be just fine.
This is fantastic, though. I mean, talk about who's on here and what this is all about.
Yeah.
There are some of our historical pictures.
Yes.
Historical from the 1990s.
Fun to see the fashion throughout the years and how that has changed.
You mean that's out of style? And this will be sold, and this also raises money.
Yes.
It does.
Yeah, let's talk about how the money is raised and what it's going to be used for. I know the restoration, but is there a specific plan that is in the works?
There is a very specific plan actually for our building, and the Basilica Block Party is a part of the fundraising efforts of the Basilica Landmark. It's a separate nonprofit from the parish, and the mission of the Basilica Landmark is to advance the building, to make sure that we are growing along with the community we're serving. So in the next 10 years, we really have a vision to grow our spaces so we can do more ministries and more programs for the community to serve them, like our St. Vincent de Paul outreach programs. Beyond that, our line...
So kind of beyond the brick and mortar stuff now, it's more geared toward the programs, the money that's being used.
The Basilica Landmark actually exists for the brick and mortar, and we wouldn't do any of that without the beautiful things that happen inside that beautiful building. So our long-term dream really is to restore the interior of the Basilica, and that dream is becoming closer and closer. A building like that is never complete, the work is never done, but we're really excited. The block party has contributed about $5 million over the last 20 years to
Helps.
Yeah, to this building and to the buildings on our campus, so we can serve people even better.
Excellent. Well, Kiera and Emily, thanks for being here this morning. If somebody wanted to get their hands on the CD and then maybe they can't get to the block party, how do they do that?
Yeah, so they can get it at basilicablockparty.org as well as the Electric Fetus.
Excellent. And tickets
All right.
for it, the
Thanks so
Basilica
much.
Block Party, are available right now. Single night ticket prices $55. 2 night passes $100. See, there's a little savings there through July 10th. We've set up a link for you at myfox9.com with more information. Thanks again.
And later, Dale Kay takes us to